It's no secret that Atlus struck gold way back in the 2000s with Persona 3. Its unique gameplay style mashing together a mix of dungeon crawling, a social simulator, and a dating simulator. My point being that this mashup of genre and game created the magnum opus of a Japanese role-playing game, and spawned a franchise bigger than anything they'd seen before. Obviously, the game created the need for merchandise. Not like Atlus weren't selling plushes of their most beloved demon Jack Frost, but now it's time for the waifus. And so figures were made, and then more figures were made, and some trading card, and oh yeah, more figures, and a couple more plushes. Oh, there's this special edition 3DS, that's cool. What, there's multiple animes and a manga? Oh, that's awesome. But wait, it's 2009. Their next game, Persona 4, was coming out in the PAL territories. That's Europe. And they wanted something to sweeten the deal for the gamers that bought their game. And what else would fit better within the box of their game with a very minor extra cost than a soundtrack CD? Yes, this video is about Persona soundtrack CDs. So yes, Persona 4 in Europe came with a bonus soundtrack, and it spawned what would be a very strange side hustle from Atlus, which was randomly including them in spin-off titles, like for example, my European copy of the original Persona 4 Arena game on PlayStation 3 also came with a short soundtrack CD disc within a cardboard sleeve. And honestly, if it wasn't for that soundtrack CD and my PS2 copy of Persona 4, I don't think I would have began collecting. It is no secret that Shoji Meguro is a fucking god when it comes to writing songs for Atlus games. Not even Persona exclusively, his songs for Trauma Center and SMT games all have the same feel and vibe. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not the type of person to listen to video game soundtracks. That phase of me ended in April of 2020 listening to the Friday Night Funkins soundtrack. Yeah, don't make fun of me! But Persona's soundtracks aren't ones that I feel embarrassed to play, especially due to the dancing soundtracks. Persona 3 and 5 Dancing came in a really nice big box, and yeah, it was fucking expensive, but it was worth for 6 soundtrack CDs and a Blu-ray of one of the concerts, fuck yeah. Personally, I have every soundtrack aside from the extended Persona 4 Dancing soundtrack, the Persona 2 duology, because it's like 8 CDs because it's 4 games, 2 discs each game, and Persona 5 Royal, as after buying the Golden soundtrack, I can guess the quality of the Royal soundtrack, so what's the lore behind some of these? As I previously mentioned, back in December of 2021, I got into collecting physical Persona items after buying a copy of Persona 4 PS2 at CEX. I played the original Persona 3, not FES, and Persona 4 on a CRT on my silver PS2, and I won't lie, it was peak. And at that point in time, the seed was planted in my brain. I then bought the Golden soundtrack, which was pretty cheap at the time and offered a small selection of tracks that were brought to the game within its Golden version. If you do want to begin collecting Persona CDs, I recommend that you use eBay and a website called Discogs rather than Amazon. I did buy a lot of mine through Amazon, and in return, some of them got damaged in transit because they don't send their parcels in protective packaging. But if you can only find Amazon listings, then I recommend you use Amazon regardless. So back on track, after obtaining the Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden soundtracks, what were next on the list? Well, I mean, it had to be Persona 3, Portable, and FES. And so I found, for $1, a single Persona 3 CD on its own, having some of the original OST. I genuinely have no clue on the origins of this CD, however it's cool, and saved me a bit of money. And then I got for fairly cheap the Portable and FES soundtracks on Amazon. They got a little fucked up in shipping, but the discs are still cool, and I really love the disc art too. I then noticed one day, with no box or picture of the actual product on Amazon, just the logo for Persona 4 the animation, I thought to myself, what the fuck? It was kind of pricey. It didn't have many details, but I said, fuck it, gotta prove I'm the swaggiest Persona 4 fan, right? So I bought it, and it came. And it's a 3 CD set of all of the ambient background music openings used within the show, and was an absolute peak buy. I kept being recommended and noticing different soundtracks on Amazon, however, the Persona 1 soundtrack wasn't on Amazon. And so I looked elsewhere, and I got my little detective hat on, and I found a good deal on Discogs. It's a marketplace for CDs and vinyl. So I ordered it from some guy in Ireland, and a few days later, poof, it was at my door ready to be played on my Hello Kitty CD player. I then bought the Q games and Arena's full soundtrack, and to end the collection, despite despising Persona 5, I got its soundtrack despite how oversaturated it is by the YouTuber essayist crowd. Yeah. I did it. And fuck off, no, I was burnt by the 12 songs on the Golden soundtrack. I'm not buying the Royal one, and 8 CDs for 2 games, nah, I'm good. So that summarizes my story, collecting the weirdest Persona collectible. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the weirdest Persona items. Soundtrack CDs are pretty common for most anime and video games, and it's not like Persona doesn't have weird things related to it. I mean, for Christ's sake, they have mouthwash, socks, cosplay, and a fucking slot machine? That slot machine does look pretty cool though, I'd like to have one someday. So that wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I read all the comments because I'm a loser. I stream like all the time too, so like, subscribe. Stay tuned.